now. I'm going to get into a little bit of my story. And if you're curious about anything that I don't spend time getting into, you can always find me afterward, online, email, direct message, and I'd be happy to, share more, chat with you one-on-one if you ever had any questions. So I'm going to briefly get into my story and how I started, and then kind of where I'm at today and some pivoting that we've done during COVID. I graduated from the Schulich School of Business in 2005 with a BBA. I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I almost didn't go to university because I just thought I'd, graduate from high school and start a business, because that sounded like a great idea to an 18-year-old. But I'm really glad that I did go and pursue the BBA. I made some great friends and I certainly learned a ton. But of course, as I think you all know, there's absolutely nothing like real life experience, and you can't learn that in school. So when I graduated, I had a double major in entrepreneurial studies and marketing. And I took a job working at the BDC because that was the first job I got offered, which had nothing to do with anything I studied. And it was not the job for me, let's put it that way. So I did that job for a year. And if any of you are familiar with the BDC, they fund entrepreneurs, small businesses, and they didn't like being called the lender of last resort. Anyway, they sort of had that reputation to contend with, and it didn't feel like a place I wanted to be. The other challenge I was dealing with, and I realize I'm speaking among entrepreneurs, is that many of my colleagues would say things like 4 years and 6 months until I retire. And I was like 24 when I started working there. And I thought, okay, I can't, this is not what I want my life to be. My career, I'm not going to dedicate it to working at a place where I'm literally ticking days off a calendar until I can collect my pension. So that was a really good wake-up call for me, because I saw how easy it was to get comfortable working in a job, and I had to cut it off at the pass. So I started dating my now husband 3 months prior to quitting my job working at the bank. He was and still is an entrepreneur. And he said to me, you're young. I was 23 at the time. He's like, you're young, just quit, start a business. If you fail, you can always go and get a job, or you can, start something different, but you don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage. Like, the stakes in life right now are relatively low. Right. Go for it. So I did. I quit the bank job a year to the day I started. I'm so grateful that I did that. Of course, I was 24 when I did this. I thought I knew everything. I put a business plan together. I felt great about life. I felt great about my business. And I ran it by my uncle, who was and is a mentor of mine. My uncle's a white knight, so he goes in and restores failing businesses and turns them around. So he's lived through it himself with his own businesses. So I always really trusted him. And he said to me, this business plan of yours, and by the way, I should tell you, the business plan was to start a cleaning business. And one of the first things I tell people about me is that I hate cleaning. And I don't say that lightly. Like, I hate it. It's one of the things that makes my blood boil. It's one of the things that stresses me out. But I also realize that a lot of people feel this way, and people don't have time to clean the way that they want to, or the way that they think or feel they should. So despite the fact that, when I quit my job and I was trying to think about what I should do, I wanted to get into something glamorous like jewelry design, or something fun like fashion. The thing that made the most sense to me was something that was just a necessity. People don't necessarily need nice jewelry, but they are always going to need their house cleaned, or they will, they'll always need this basic product or service. And it's not glamorous. I had to get my hands dirty. I had to roll up my sleeves, but it has proven me right. Like, that was the right decision to make. So I put a business plan together. I took it to my uncle. He said to me, everything looks great. Who's going to do the cleaning? And I said, well, I'll just hire people, and I'll train them. And he's like, okay, but if you're going to start a business, you have to know every job in that business. You have to understand your business from top to bottom. And that was a wake-up call for me, because it meant that I had to do the thing I hated. I had to learn how to clean. I had to study it, treat it like it was the most important thing on my agenda each and every day. There was no YouTube in 2006. So I had to go and buy videos and read books and like literally learn how to clean, because no one ever took the time to teach me. I had to learn about different products and tools and techniques. I had to learn about the business, which I did. And then my then boyfriend, now husband, made me a flyer. He put a very basic website together for me. He was in a website design business. That's what he did. And back in 2006, having a good website was everything. So I had that. I had a flyer. I had very minimal cleaning experience. And like, I was just not good at cleaning, but I started to get customers. I booked them. I started to get repeat business. Very shortly after that, I was able to hire people because I couldn't do the work myself anymore. I would train people based on, my experience and what I had learned. These were experienced cleaners. They were older than I was. So at times I dealt with, them looking down on me and saying, who are you to tell me how to clean? And I'm like, well, this is the job. Either you're going to clean the way I tell you to, or have to find something else. Anyway, all during this time, I was also waitressing at the Richmond Hill Keg to pay my bills because I wanted to plow everything back into the business. And about 18 months into doing that and running the cleaning business, I was able to quit waitressing and go into the business full time. I'm the kind of person that really loves to do what I'm good at and hates to do what I'm not. So things I don't like doing are cleaning and anything to do with accounting. So I was very happy to outsource bookkeeping, payroll, accounting, all of that very quickly. So one of the big mistakes that I made early on was outsourcing that to a person and not paying any attention to those numbers at all. That person ended up taking me for quite a ride, which cost me about $60,000 in debt. And it all sort of came to a head while I was on a cruise floating in the middle of the Caribbean, and found out that we were about to go bankrupt because we couldn't make payroll. So that was a lesson we learned early on. I had to finagle some money out of a personal line of credit, and we ended up making it work. That was one of the most painful lessons. I'm obviously giving you the extremely short version of that story, but I feel it's very important. It's very easy to talk about our successes and all the things that we do well and all of the great stories, but it is equally as important to talk about the challenges, the struggles, and the failures and the mistakes, because I think that's where we learn and that's where we grow. So I certainly learned a lot from that mistake. After that, we had to slim down our business quite a bit. Literally cut the fat, get rid of all the expenses, talk to all the people we owed money to, come up with repayment schedules. But it taught me that I had to keep my finger on the pulse of my business in all aspects, whether I liked the aspect or not. And that's the job of an entrepreneur. Anyway, along this journey, I started my business in 2006. And in 2008, I got a phone call or it was 2007 or 2008, I got a phone call to do a TV segment on a CBC show called Stephen and Chris, which is no longer in existence, but it was running for quite a while. And they needed someone to do a segment on ironing. And they needed someone who knew about cleaning and someone who could be on television. So like I said to you, having a great website at that time and now is really important, was really important. So the producer found my website, saw a picture of me. They're like, oh, okay, maybe she'll go on TV and talk about ironing. Well, you all know by now that I hated to clean. I had no clue how to iron, not a clue. But the producer called and I was like, absolutely, I'll do this segment. When is it? And I thought, I'd have some time to prepare. He called me on a Thursday. He's like, it's on Tuesday. We'll see you in studio on Tuesday. I was like, oh God. So I went to my mom's. I literally did 2 loads of her laundry. She taught me how to iron. I then went to my friend's house who had a nanny. The nanny taught me how to iron. So I culminated all of that knowledge, and I went and I did my first television segment back in 2007 or 2008, whenever it was. I had zero TV experience. And when the camera zoomed in to do a close-up of me ironing the cuff of a shirt, I was repeatedly ironing a crease into the cuff, because obviously I had no idea what I was doing, right? But anyway, such is the beauty of live television. And that was sort of the first piece of a larger media career. So now I'm going to tell you how I got into YouTube and social media and all of the stuff that sort of spun out into an entirely different business. So the timeline we're talking here is 2011, 3 years prior in 2008, very quickly. That's when YouTube came on the scene, actually. And it was nothing more than a video sharing website. People didn't really understand what it was, or what its power was, or what it meant, or what its future could look like. People just knew it was there, kind of like whenever a new social media platform comes out and people are trying to feel it out and understand what it's there for. 2008, also, we all remember that year. I thought I was going to lose my business that year, and my business actually grew fivefold during the recession, which prior to March was the most difficult time for my business. And I thought, wow, this is fascinating. My business can survive, a recession. I guess people really need cleaning no matter what. And I'll talk about the pandemic shortly. But yeah, I think at this point, cleaning could probably survive an apocalypse. But anyway, back to YouTube. My husband and I had just gotten married, and he's always been like an internet guy and really, into building websites and that kind of stuff. And he said, I really think we should make a YouTube video about cleaning, because I think, if any of you are familiar with the term SEO and how important search is on your website, YouTube is owned by Google, as you probably know, and it all plays into SEO and how well your website does in search. So he said, if we call our YouTube channel Clean My Space and we have it on our website, like we embed the video on our website, then Google is going to pick that up in search, and it will help our website do better when people type in cleaning Toronto. Okay, so I had no camera experience aside from the Stephen and Chris show. We did not have good camera equipment. We didn't have good audio equipment. We didn't have lighting. We didn't have anything that we actually needed to make good videos. But fortunately for us, timing was on our side, and YouTube was pretty fresh on the scene, and people weren't producing the type and the quality of videos that they are today. And I decided to put out a video about how to clean salt stains off your boots, which is a pretty relatable topic and something that I think, people would search for. And then at the end of the video, or somewhere in the video, I said, I have a cleaning service in Toronto. If you're interested, you can come check it out. And what ended up happening was we started to build a following on YouTube. It was small and it was slow, but it was steady. And people started to ask questions. We started to engage with our community, meaning we would respond to the comments on the platform. Someone would ask a question and we would film a video in response for them and put it up. And that was exciting for them. And slowly but surely, our channel started to grow, and nobody was doing cleaning on YouTube. The big things on YouTube at the time were makeup tutorials, which obviously are still huge on YouTube, and other types of content, funny content like cat videos and, the things that you've probably heard about time and again. Clips of really cool sports moments, that kind of stuff. And cleaning was really not something that I thought was interesting or exciting, but I figured, hey, it's a good business opportunity. All the while I was still running my cleaning service, but my husband and I started to become a little bit more dedicated to filming videos on a regular basis and putting them up on YouTube. He eventually quit his job in 2014 when we decided to take it seriously, and we started earning money on our videos. We realized that we could replace his salary. My husband at the time, he had sold his web design business and then was hired by his biggest client. So he headed up the marketing department for this global business. He was making good money. And we decided it was something he wanted to do. It was something we wanted to pursue. We saw how it was an opportunity. So we took that risk. We still didn't have kids. At that time, we had a mortgage, but it was a small mortgage. So it was a manageable risk for us. And that's what we did. We started making videos on a regular basis. We hit small subscriber milestones, which are very important on YouTube. So, we got our first 1,000 subscribers, and then we got our first 10,000 subscribers. And then I think in 2015, we got our first 100,000 subscribers. So YouTube sends you it's called a silver play button. It's like a special trophy or award that you can get. And then in 2018, we hit 1 million subscribers, and we got our gold play button, which anytime any young person comes to our house, they absolutely flip out when they see our gold play button, because they're also obsessed with YouTube. And now we're at just under 1.7 million subscribers. So the growth is exponential, which is really cool. And our YouTube channel has done some really cool stuff over the years. It has brought us a lot of exciting opportunities. We've been featured. We've had some videos go viral. So our video clips have been featured on the news all over the world. And how do I know this? Because our fans will take pictures like, hey, I'm in Pakistan and your mattress cleaning video was just on the 6 o'clock news, or, I'm in Sweden and I just saw you on the news, like whatever it is. It's really funny when that kind of stuff happens. But that's the internet. It's such a strange place. And then in 2017, I had my book come out, and it was published by Penguin Random House. It was a joint deal that I did between Penguin Random House here in Canada and Penguin in the US, which was really exciting. I got to go on book tour. I spoke at the FBI in New York. They were really excited to have me there. So again, I was really surprised. Why are you guys interested in cleaning? I had James Comey's colleague introduce me, because he was in Washington at the time. So it was just a really, really interesting experience. Also, certainly indicative of the differences between Canada and the US, but that's another conversation for another time. So I've been on the Today Show, I've been on the Rachael Ray Show. I do all kinds of regular Canadian media, albeit it's been a lot more in my basement office than it has been in studio for the past almost year. And our YouTube channel is, a great business for us. Because not only does YouTube pay us every time someone watches one of our videos, we also get to work with amazing sponsors. So, for example, this year we've worked with Dyson, we've worked with Scotch-Brite, we've worked with Arm & Hammer, like some really big names. So the way that someone in this particular space gets paid is, on eyeballs on their content, so on YouTube, but then also through sponsored work. So, if I work with a brand, they are paying me for that relationship, it's like a sports endorsement. It's great. So all the while, my cleaning business is still running. And 2 years ago, I brought someone in to help me run that business because I could no longer give the attention that it needed. So I have someone who works with me on running that business. And then in 2016, we saw an opportunity because we kept talking about microfiber cleaning cloths on our YouTube channel. And we just saw an opportunity to make our own line. So for the past 4 years, we've been selling our line of cleaning cloths called Makers Clean. They are available worldwide. They are premium quality, and they have a cult following, which is really kind of exciting. We've created this incredible product. It's an entirely virtual hands-off business. Our inventory comes from overseas. It lands in it lands in one 3PL warehouse, and then we ship some of our inventory up to Canada. Our back end of our website is Shopify. So anytime someone goes on and makes a purchase, it tells our 3PL warehouse, they print out a label, they pick and pack our stuff, they ship it out. We never touch our inventory, but we have this business, and actually our products business is our most profitable business and is on track to be our largest business. We also are working on different retail opportunities with that product line as well. So we have gotten our hands into quite a few different things in terms of cleaning. So for someone who hates cleaning, it's pretty exciting because there are so many different things I can do in this business, even though I don't like doing it. And I still don't like doing it, but I do like helping people. And I know there are a lot of people out there like me who struggle with cleaning. I never say that I live in a perfectly clean house. I don't, and I will not turn my camera around and show you what the rest of my office looks like. But I'm just a person among people who struggles with it like everyone else. And I'm very happy to share my knowledge, my wisdom, my experience in cleaning, with people online and find a way to motivate them in some way, shape, or form. But I'm really technique driven. So even though I don't like doing it, I know exactly how to do it in the most efficient and effective way. And that's what I like to share. Anyway, I also wanted to talk about some additional revenue streams because I think this could be interesting to some of you, and for others of you, it could be an illuminating thing. You might not have even known this is a way to earn money. But anyway, what many businesses are doing right now over the past few years, and specifically with COVID, is they're finding ways to capitalize on their knowledge or their expertise by selling digital products or services. So one of the things that I did when my daughter was born in 2018, I didn't take a maternity leave, but I did, need a little bit of time to recover. I wrote a course, and the course was designed to teach people how to start their own cleaning business. Because I have a following online, people would ask, oh, I want to get into cleaning. How should I do that? Can you be my mentor? And I'd be like, yeah, I can't be like 50 people's mentors, So I ended up turning it into this course. And when I launched the course, we did 6 figures in the first month. So it doesn't do 6 figures every month anymore, of course, but there are people who I know that launch digital courses all the time, and they are doing those kinds of numbers very regularly by something they will sit down and write once. So digital courses, digital products, whether it's an ebook or an online course, an online group session, whatever it is, this is how people are making big bucks. There's literally zero overhead aside from whatever hosting you would have to pay for your website or, any online webinar platform that you'd be using. It's a one and done expense. And then you just have to manage, you have to sell it. So you have to sell it to your audience or your customers, however you get them. You'd have to do a little bit of customer service, but everything kind of takes care of itself. And the thing that I really like about digital business, and the 2 of my 3 businesses that I have, my service business, I would say, is obviously the most traditional business and frankly, the most challenging one to run, just because it's so dynamic. We're dealing with cleaning staff, we're dealing with clients, we're dealing with externalities like bad weather, like there's so many things that affect the way that our business runs each and every day. That makes it really challenging. Whereas with these digital businesses or these online businesses, people watch our YouTube videos 24/7. They're visiting our website 24/7. They're buying our cloths 24/7. They can buy any digital products we have any time of the day, anywhere in the world. I can be sleeping, I could be drinking Starbucks, doesn't matter what I'm doing. So that's why so many people are finding ways to capitalize on their knowledge or their expertise in creating digital products or finding ways to make digital businesses, because it is a much more efficient and streamlined way to work. So my online course, teaching people how to start their own cleaning business, I have that. One of the things that we'll be doing and selling to our audience in 2021 is coming up with some ebooks. They don't have to be expensive, like I'm talking $5. But when you think about having a large audience, if you have X amount of clients or X amount of followers, you can hit some volume. And then if you're in the type of business where you might not have tons of followers, then you can flip the script and you can go on margin, like I did with my e-course. And I said, I'm selling you a lot of value here. I don't think 300,000 people are going to buy this product, but maybe 30 or maybe 60 will. And I know how much I can charge for this knowledge. So that course was over $1,000. We sold tons of them, like relative. Like we didn't sell like hundreds of thousands of them, but we did sell like hundreds of spots in the course. So, think about what your knowledge base is and if a digital product could make sense for you. And then I would also say some other things that we've done that have been really successful is come up with a newsletter, which I know some of us don't like getting in our inboxes, but I think if you're creating content that your audience or your customers really need or want to see or hear, they will open your newsletter. You can give them different types of value. I've actually just hired a company to write my newsletter because they're very funny in the way that they create content. And I feel like cleaning is such a boring topic. I mean, it's just so hard to make cleaning exciting or interesting, particularly for someone who hates doing it. So I hired this company and like they channel Jerry Seinfeld and they write a newsletter and it is hilarious. And it's so much fun to read. And our audience loves it. And what do we do in our newsletter? We put in a couple of little squares where we talk about our microfiber cloths. And then that directs people to our website. And then we have links to our videos. We have links to our articles on our website. So anytime I get anyone clicking on any one of those properties, it's sending them into another one of my revenue streams. So if you're not familiar with different digital revenue streams, it could be a really interesting opportunity for you to think about, especially now that the face of business has changed so much. Are any of you familiar with Amazon affiliates? I'll tell you about Amazon affiliates because this, I bet you, will be very interesting. So if you have a website.
Melissa,
yes.
We have a question. Do you mind taking it?
Of course.
Hi, Melissa. It's Michelle. Just a question. How often are you sending out your newsletters? Because I started with the Mailchimp and sending out newsletters, and I'm just wondering how much is too much and how much is too little, do you find?
Michelle, that's a really good question. And the best way I can answer that, I will give you a twofold answer. First of all, rule number one is to know your audience. So know who you're talking to, know what they want, know what they're willing to tolerate. Number two is numbers don't lie. So Mailchimp, for those of you who aren't familiar with Mailchimp, it's an online email management platform. So you don't have to like write your email in Outlook and then BCC everyone, which is how many years ago we used to send out newsletters. Mailchimp is a program where you can basically upload your email list into the system. And then it gives you a really easy template for writing a beautiful email. And it also gives you stats. And those stats, Michelle, are really valuable. So your open rates means how many people saw your email and clicked it and opened it. Your click-through rates means how many people opened your email, read your email, and clicked on a link that you put in there. And then you can see how each link performed. And what I would do is I would test it. And for us, we send our newsletter out twice a month to our newsletter is called The Dirty Dish. Get it? And we send that out twice a month. And our click-through rate, we have a very high open rate. It's between 35 and 45%, which is like super high. I would say on average, you should expect about a 20% open rate. So I'd say if you're around that sweet spot and you send your newsletters out once a month, stick with it. You can test it, do it twice a month and see how it goes. I would imagine for your business, Michelle, like if you have an active customer being, a next of kin of someone who's using your service, they'd probably be really interested in what you have to say. And then if you have someone who's, more interested in sort of thinking about, should I use this service or is this something I want to keep in mind for, what I anticipate will come a year or two down the line for me, it could be a really good way to keep in touch with them. And then what you can get into is something called segmentation. If you're familiar, have you heard of segmentation? Okay, so segmentation is where you get to divide up your newsletter into streams. So let's say, for example, you have an active customer stream where you're sending out newsletters every week, like, oh, we're going to feature, you know, one of our amazing employees. This is Patricia. We love her so much. These are the things she's doing. Here are all the ways we're staying safe during COVID. You know, here's a charity we donated to. Have a great week. That could be stream number one. And then stream number two could be for prospects. So you could send out an email to prospects once a month just to keep in touch with them. Here's what we're up to, or once a quarter. You know, you can also include coupon codes or, you know, different things. So what you can end up doing, and this is why Mailchimp and newsletters can become so powerful, is you can segment the type of content you're sending out based on who you're talking to. And if that's something that you're not totally comfortable with, there are companies like the company I hired who just specialize in writing newsletters because it is that important to business. You know, when we send out a newsletter from we have a separate segmented list for our Makers Clean customers. Like, it's a 5-figure day for us when we send out a newsletter with 10% off. Like, we sell tens of thousands of dollars worth of cloths and microfiber products to our email list. So email lists become very, very valuable to a business. So if it's something that you're not familiar with or you're not using yet, I would definitely say to think about it. It's a great, yeah, it's a great product. Amazing. So Amazon affiliate, I just wanted to tell you guys about that and affiliate programs. Let's say, for example, you constantly recommend something in your business. I'm going to use Michelle just as an example. No, I'll use Sherry. So let's say Sherry constantly recommends one brand of cannabis. I doubt you do that because you're an educator, but let's just say you did. You could talk to that company and say, hey, I know I'm sending you a lot of customers. Can you give me a code? And then what you can do, Sherry, when you talk about brand X cannabis, you can say, and make sure you use my code Sherry15 to save 15% off your next purchase of brand X cannabis. And then what that cannabis company can do, Sherry, is pay you a commission for every person you send to their website. And they will use that code to track every sale that you make. So many companies do this. Amazon does this. So I have Amazon links on my website talking about, if I talk about a Dyson vacuum or a sponge, I just put an Amazon link in there. I'm part of their affiliate program. And we get nice checks from Amazon every month. Like, we do nothing and we just recommend products there on our website and they send us checks every single month. Yes. So there are a lot of different hands-off things that you can look to. And I'm just giving you these examples because the thing that I decided was I hate cleaning, but I'm going to exploit the crap out of it. I'm going to find every angle I can to turn it into a revenue generating opportunity for me. So I've got affiliate going, I've got sponsorships going, I've got YouTube revenue, website revenue, online products like digital courses. We're going to create an ebook, you know, a product line, like a book, literally anything I can do to talk about cleaning and make money from it, I'm going to do, plus a cleaning business. So, yeah, that's kind of how we've been earning some money online. I'll pause quickly because I'm attentive. I'm sort of paying attention to the time here. I want to know if anyone else has any more questions before I just leave you with some thoughts about COVID and what's been going on.
It's Carla. Hi, Melissa. Interesting, hey. Very interesting story so far. In regards to Amazon, so the affiliate, is it basically you're just directing your customers who who read your newsletter to Amazon? That's to buy the Dyson product and that's it?
Yeah, so what you would do if you wanted to do Amazon affiliate links is, so let's say you send out a newsletter, you know, you and Peter are in the same business. So let's say you and Peter decide, I'm going to send out a newsletter to all my customers every month just to keep in touch with them. And in that, you can recommend some products, like, you know, if it's a personal thing, because so my dad's in the insurance business too, and I understand, you know, that sort of side of things. It's really personal. Like, you want, that person knows a lot of stuff about you and you want to have a good relationship with them. And I know my dad has had his customers for years and years and years. So a great way to stay in touch with people is to sort of, you know, share with them what's good, share the news, share what's good with them out there. So you might have a list of like, my 3 favorite things this month. And it's just, you know, another way for people to get to know you and be in touch with you. And you might find 3 things on Amazon that you really love. So you would sign up for this affiliate program on Amazon. It does not take a long time. It's like signing up for any other thing that you have to sign up for online these days. And you would generate a little link. Anytime you find a product that you want, there's a little plugin for your browser. So you can go there, you generate a link, you copy that link, you would put that in your newsletter. And then what happens is when I click on that link that you've sent me in the email that I've just opened, the power of the internet, that link will essentially trace my purchase back to your referral.
Wow.
So Amazon's system will then know that Carla sent Melissa this link, Melissa made a purchase, so Carla gets a commission.
Wow.
That's how that works.
And that's really easy. It sounds easy. Is it as easy as it sounds?
It's pretty easy. Like it requires, you know, just the setup, but once you get it, you get it.
Wow.
We've been doing it for years.
Melissa, I have a question as well.
Yeah.
So how many hours are you spending a day in your business?
So that's a good question. Of the 3 businesses that I run, I probably spend an hour and a half thinking about or working on my service business a day. And then I probably spend, I don't spend tons of time. Like, to be honest, I have a team of 4, myself, my husband, we have 2 people that work with us on the digital and product side. So between the 4 of us, I'd say we each put in probably a 6 to 8 hour day. And then we'll be looking to bring on what's called a community manager. So someone to literally manage comments, emails, direct messages that we get on Instagram, YouTube. It's a full-time job. We have millions of people that watch our stuff. So staying in touch with our community, building our community, that's building our customer base. So we actually need to bring someone on. So that's going to be a hire we make in 2021. And that's a job that person can literally do on the toilet on their phone. But I mean, yeah, we don't spend, I don't like the idea of having to work 23 hours a day. I did that when I first started my business. And, you know, I have a 2.5-year-old. I like my husband. I like my daughter. I like my friends. Even though I'm not doing much socializing these days, actually none at all. I think it's really important to, you know, have time for family and friends and other things. So I don't want to work myself to the bone. So I don't. Yeah. Hey, Sherry.
Wondering if I may ask a question. Thank you. This is really, really interesting, and I truly honor you. Really, you've you built yourself up from the ground up, right? So I'm on it with regard to this affiliate issue. The thing is, I have an ebook coming out probably next week. It'll be published, and it's 44 pages long. I think that's too long. I was telling my editor Joanne, who I found through the King Chamber of Commerce, a wonderful, wonderful PR company and ghostwriter and editing service. So it's 44 pages long. What do you think? Do you think people's attention span is that? Are your ebooks small? What is how many pages in a ebook that you would have, for instance?
There's no answer. There's no answer at all. I mean, it's as long or as short as it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think if people, you're in an industry where there has not been a lot of good quality information, and then all of a sudden something became legal and people don't know where to look, but they want to make a good purchase.
Right.
you know? So I actually don't think there's anything wrong with the length of your ebook. And frankly, like 44 pages of information about cannabis, if I'm looking to get into it, that seems valuable. That seems well researched. Why wouldn't I want to read 44 pages?
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll just say briefly, COVID's been a very hard time for all of us. I had to lay off 23 people in March, and then we stayed closed until June. I had a very, very hard time rehiring my staff. We don't pay minimum wage, of course, but they seemed to be interested in CERB, and I don't want to get too into that, but it has been really challenging to bring staff back and find people to work during this time. Demand is through the roof, and which is a great problem to have, but if you can't service them, then it's tough. So we are at about 10 cleaning specialists right now, which is what we call our staff. And the good news is we did use the downtime to completely restructure our business. We redid our website. We put all of our training digitally. So now we never have to see someone in person. We can train them all online and make sure that they're passing their tests and doing everything that they need to do. We can track them through an online system that we've implemented. So we made our business entirely cloud-based, to the point where I think we'll be giving up our office lease. And we've used this time to get really lean, slim down all of our expenses. For better or for worse, we let go one of our administrative people, and that saved us a lot of money as well. But we also realized, when you are forced into a situation like this and you have to reconsider the way that your business runs and operates, you make some tough decisions, but ultimately you can save a lot of money. So our revenue service side has been way down this year, but our profitability is way up. So the thing that I'm really happy about is that I know going into 2021 and beyond, because as I said earlier, I call cleaning the cockroach of businesses. Like, you just can't kill it. It won't go away. I know that we will survive this pandemic. And when we come out of it, my business is in such better shape. So I have struggled to see the silver lining this year in just about everything, but I'm working my hardest. And I did want to share that silver lining with all of you, because I think, some of you might be open right now, some of you might be closed. For whatever reason, Ford said that cleaners could go in to homes. So we are operating in Toronto. We actually don't operate in York Region yet. But yeah, we're fully operational right now. And we found ways. We decided not to let that 8-week period go to waste. We really, really wanted to fix our business and make it even better. So that's what we did. And our digital business and our products business have had their best years yet. Unfortunately, cleaning became really popular this year. So
Well,
that's
really
I don't want to end on a low note. I mean, obviously I'm thrilled about it, but I'm so sad that it had to happen because of coronavirus. But anyway, here we are.
Do you find fear in your employees? Like, are they afraid to go into households? Like,
of course. I mean, I think we've done a really good job of training our clients, and Michelle, you're probably in a similar situation, but we've done a really good job of training our clients about what they need to do for us to come in.
Right.
And we've implemented some very rigid requirements for our staff as well, in terms of PPE, what they have to do. They change between clients. And we also were very strict. Like, if the client doesn't feel well, there's no cancellation fee anymore. If our staff don't feel well, they do not come to work. So it's been major challenges in terms of scheduling, especially because we're down so much staff. But ultimately, our clients have been incredibly understanding. And so have our staff. And everybody's been really respectful of one another, in terms of just making, like, I think this time has also made people care a little bit more about one another. So our
Sure.
clients really care about our staff really care about our clients, and nobody wants to get another person sick. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much. I know we're running to the end of our time, but does anybody have any other questions? Or it was very, very informative, that's for sure. I'm in the construction business, Melissa. I have a hard time thinking, man, oh man, I'm thinking while you're talking, I'm saying, how can I make my business digital?
I don't know. I don't know if you can.
I have to get somebody to look at that. Maybe there is a YouTube channel here somewhere. They've always said that I should have some kind of virtual show here because of all the events that happen at Tri-Sand Construction and all the things that go on every day. There's
You could have a
always
TikTok account.
a TikTok account. There you go. You talked
Yeah.
about languages, Dee. I got all this gray hair.
How about I
these are-
refer you to my friend who owns Toolbox? It's an app, a construction app. Look at Toolbox when you have some time.
I gotta get more into learning some of that because I like some of the ideas you presented. I mean, it's been very, very informative, and it's certainly some things of the future for sure that you're talking about. I know Michelle's always gung ho about new things and implementing all kinds of stuff in her business, and we certainly are. I've been doing my business for 45 years on my own, and then plus before that with my father. But the thing is, all the struggles that you've experienced, I think most entrepreneurs have experienced at one point or not in their lifetime. And I don't know how you can be an entrepreneur without experiencing some of those ups and downs that you experienced. So, and I can share with some of those things about the Mediterranean and being on holidays and trying to solve problems when you're so far away. I have a few of those stories for you as well someday. But anyways, anybody have any other questions? Because we certainly don't want to impose on our time with our guest, for sure. Helen, you want to wrap it up then, or?
Yeah, does anybody, last questions? No?
No, I just want to say that was so informative, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Many different layers that all of us as business owners, entrepreneurs can definitely relate to, and definitely some more information on digital stuff. So I think that we all found that so informative, and we, just Helen will thank you for coming, but personally, I just wanted to say that was very, very insightful for me. So thank
Yes,
you.
you're most welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Melissa. We really appreciate it. And it was a fantastic talk.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, everyone. Happy holidays, and I hope you all stay healthy and safe, and that your businesses thrive and prosper and come out the other side of this even stronger.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
you.
All the best, everyone.
you.
Have a
Come to
great
York
holiday.
region. Come to York region, Melissa.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm working on it, trust me.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you. Merry
everyone.
Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
All the best.
See you all.
Thank you.
Bye.